The Big Dipper, Son of a Beast, and the Roller Coaster. These are 10 banned roller coasters that can kill. Number 10, the Big Dipper. The first roller coaster on our list is the host of what's commonly known as the worst roller coaster accident in history. Meet the Big Dipper. This roller coaster was immediately banned following a terrible incident in May 1972 in which the roller coaster cars detached from the security chain underneath the track and sent the cars flying. The lower cars were crushed by those behind. The accident resulted in 2 teenage boys and an 8-year-old girl dying immediately at the scene, and 2 more children died later in the hospital. The accident was so terrible that it immediately made headlines all across the world and was quickly replaced by the cyclone. Prosecutors assigned the case of the accident called the Big Dipper a death trap. Many at the time hoped this incident would be the last of its kind, given how severe it was. But this list will be the prime example that this simply wasn't true. Number 9, Son of a Beast. Long ago, roller coaster designers thought it might be a good idea to build roller coasters out of wood instead of metal like they use today. That came back to haunt the designers of the Son of a Beast roller coaster when a woman was hurt almost fatally by a horrific design error. Initially, the creators of this coaster wanted to implement a loop into the track, but the lighter coaster cars were not able to complete it. So after deciding to get rid of it, they continued to work but put a straightaway in its place. But it seems like there was a wooden plank they missed in the dismantling of the loop. This would go on to critically injure the woman's head, getting the ride banned and eventually demolished in September 2012. I guess we can call it a good thing that roller coasters don't get made with wood anymore. Number 8, the Roller Coaster. A common issue you'll find on the roller coasters on this list is that once roller coasters reach a certain age, their danger level seems to spike. The roller coaster is the first of many examples of wear and tear causing roller coasters to slowly break down and get someone hurt when a 3-year-old went on the ride with his mother in Pittsburgh when the ride's faults caused the 3-year-old to get super hurt. So hurt that he had to be flown to a nearby hospital in a helicopter. The ride's numerous defects caused the young child to be thrown out of the roller coaster while it rounded a turn. So you can imagine that when this happened, the park was forced to close the ride down and ban it for good. To make things worse, there are rumors that they're actually going to unban this roller coaster soon. What? If you think these were dangerous, things are about to get worse. Keep watching to see what's next. Number 7, the Derby Racer. Being the oldest roller coaster on this list, the Derby Racer has a long history of terrible accidents, which surprisingly didn't get banned for a long time. In 1911, a young man was projected out of the roller coaster suffering from life-threatening injuries for weeks. The ride shortly closed, opening back a mere 2 weeks later as if nothing had ever happened. In 1917, another man was killed by the coaster when getting stuck in front of the rail cars. Come 1923, the couple was severely injured on the coaster, and if matters couldn't get any worse, yet another rider was thrown from the coaster in 1929. All of this led to a court case in 1935 against the makers of the Derby Racer, ultimately led to the demolition of the ride so it could never be ridden again. We're just surprised it took them 24 years and 4 separate incidents to close this ride down. Let's all celebrate the destruction of the Derby Racer. Number 6, the Mind Bender. The next roller coaster on our list was once known as the world's largest indoor triple loop roller coaster, until one fateful day that ended up in multiple deaths. The back car seemingly disengaged from the track and caused the entire ride to fishtail and smash into the support beams surrounding the track, throwing riders out of their seats. 3 people were killed and 1 seriously injured. Upon further investigation, it would come out that the German manufacturer that built the roller coaster had filed for bankruptcy, which caused them to skimp out on specific areas of the roller coaster car. The car that had derailed was actually missing a screw, which led to the fatal incident. The ride had to be partially rebuilt, and the old model was never seen again. Surprisingly, the newer model is still running to this day. Sorry, Mindbender, but I don't think we'll be riding you anytime soon. Number 5, the Haunted Castle. The next roller coaster on our list just goes to show how even if everything seems safe, all may not be well. Even though this ride was checked out and confirmed safe in safety inspections, it still killed 8 people. When a fire broke out amidst a typical ride of the Haunted Castle, it ended up spreading so fast that 8 people were unable to escape. The fire burned for a total of 1.5 hours. 7 other ridegoers were sent to the hospital for severe smoke inhalation. To make matters worse, the fire burned so long because the park's water supply was not efficient enough to put out the fire. We're unable to find an accurate source that states what the source of the fire was, but from what we can tell, the ride was completely safe. If the Haunted Castle wasn't haunted before, we can bet that it is now. Number 4, the Sand Blaster. If there's any common thread between roller coaster accidents we can find on this list, it's malfunctioning safety chains derailing roller coasters that seem to cause the most accidents. The Sandblaster in Daytona Beach, Florida, sent a total of 10 ridegoers flying out of the roller coaster when it derailed 34 feet in the air. 2 riders were hanging from a car in midair for quite a long time before firefighters showed up to rescue them. The state agency that oversees amusement rides, Florida's Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, or FDACS, immediately ordered the ride to be shut down. The roller coaster company, Daytona Beach Boardwalk Amusement Rides, Inc., according to records, also runs rides in North Carolina and South Carolina, along with a traveling carnival, according to published reports. Officials with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration said the department is not investigating this incident because no employees were injured. I can't even imagine hanging in the air that high for so long. It's way too scary to even think about. Starting now, things get even worse. Keep watching until the end. Number 3, Dodonpa. Imagine how cool it would be to have an amusement park in direct view of one of the most beautiful sights the world has to offer. That's exactly what you would have found with the Dodonpa roller coaster in Japan before it was forced to shut down. The Dodonpa roller coaster's highest point gives riders a direct view of the illustrious Mount Fuji. Too bad it's been closed down for intensely injuring its riders. The coaster is so powerful that it could go from a standstill to 112 miles per hour in under 2 seconds. The governor of Yamanashi was quick to criticize the creators of the ride for not reporting the issue sooner, as it took them a very long time to make note of the glaring health and safety issue. The public was understandably angry, given that if they had come forward earlier and had the ride shut down earlier, they could have prevented countless injuries and saved ridegoers a lot of medical bills. Number 2, The Voyage. The next coaster on our list killed an Ohio woman in one of the most brutal ways we've ever seen on one of these lists yet. It was June 4th at the Holiday World theme park and Splash and Safari Water Park in Santa Claus, Indiana. As the roller coaster, the Voyage coaster, returned from its seating area, the park workers found a 47-year-old woman in her seat completely unresponsive. She would go on to die in the hospital later that night. Upon inspecting her body, the coroner found 3 different causes of death. The causes ended up being severe blood loss, a tear in her artery, and the sheer force of the roller coaster itself. It was the sheer force of its 154 feet drops that ended up tearing the woman's artery, and not anything physical of the ride itself, meaning the ride did not physically malfunction. The coroner stated that it was just a reaction her body had to the ride. While the death was ruled accidental by the state, we can't help but feel like maybe the roller coaster shouldn't have been going that fast in the first place. Watch your necks, folks. Number 1, The Raging River. The final coaster on our list is a watery mess for sure. We've never expected to see a river raft roller coaster on these lists, but this ride from Adventureland is changing that today. While the ride had been inspected just the day before and confirmed to be in good working condition, the river raft overturned with a family inside at around 7 p.m. The Raging River ride contained a small family in which an 11-year-old boy was killed from his injuries after being stuck and almost crushed under the river raft. Another child was also on the ride, being severely injured and rushed to the hospital. This also had not been the first time someone had been hurt on this ride. Years earlier, a 68-year-old Adventureland employee fell into the water while helping riders out of the raft, fracturing his skull among the mechanisms below. I always thought river raft rides were super safe. I guess not so much anymore. Maybe I'll be taking a break from amusement parks in general after hearing this list. Enjoyed the video? Now watch this one.